what year did you start acting, and where did you begin your practice? And then was there a certain technique that you were taught under?
Okay, so like I said, local acting theater.
Right.
Googled them, took an acting class, and then I started just looking on Groupon for like acting classes in the city. I wanted to try a bunch of like different theaters and teachers out to see like what would I gel with, what am I trying to get at. And then I found a private acting coach who I worked with for about a year. And so we did private lessons on Skype, and he I don't know if I learned like a technique like a Meisner or like Stella Adler or anything like that. He definitely has bits and pieces of whatever worked for him. He kind of teaches to his students.
Gotcha.
And it's really rooted in like imagination and like using your imagination to really create the environment, create the character, create the setting, creating the story in your mind, like really believing that it's happening.
Right.
So he taught me a lot. And then going into, I think, really working on the script and like breaking it down like a feature length script, over 100 pages, tons and tons of like monologues and lines. I think that working on that alone, I was working on the script with him. And then I started to, kind of disagree with some of the things he was saying. And I felt, no, but that's not her. And I started to realize like, this is my character and I get to choose.
Right.
He can have as many helpful suggestions as possible. And I took as many as I could. But on the things I disagreed with, I started to understand like, I get to, at the end of the day, say who she is or who she isn't, and like how I want to play her or what she's thinking. And so I think working on that really helped me like become an actor, like learn how to become an actor, learn how to like look at a script and see little details and like read between the lines.
Right.
That's interesting too, that, you go to your acting coach, or I guess you can call him acting coach. He worked on him forever. You will always respect him, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes you aware of how important knowing your character is, and just being able to, like you yourself, you're already developing your character with them, and then you're making decisions like outside of, like off screen.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
To hear about that. That's really cool.
No,
and then it really becomes your character because you're not letting somebody else dictate what the character's thinking or how they're feeling or what they should be feeling here and how they look, how they dress. It's really like, it's all on you. And it's like, okay, I really got to think about this. Like, who is this person?
Right.
And you really have to like get to the depth of who they are, because then you're not doing them justice if you don't know all those little details. Do they wear nail polish? That might not be important to like a person watching, but like I wear nail polish as Emma.
Right.
The character did not, because I didn't think that she would spend the time doing her nails. I thought she was so in her own head and couldn't deal with shit and was an emotional and mental wreck that this person was not going to take time, sit down, get her nails done, or take time and sit down and do her own nails.
Right.
But knowing that, that's like such a small detail, but knowing that it like lets me so much deeper into her brain and tells me of like how to answer other questions about her. Is she having sex? Is she, does she have friends? Is she drinking alcohol? Is she smoking weed? Like, do people know about this? Is this a secret for her? Like, all of these things that I had not thought of for characters beforehand, because I thought I really didn't have to, but I think that was like an excuse of, oh, I don't have enough lines, I'm not going to make a character. I think that was lazy on my part, but I think after doing all of that work, I would never almost disrespect a character by not doing that work going forward.
Okay. Would you say that not sort of developing a certain acting technique almost helped you? Because the way I see it, right, as actors, is how well you can capture human behavior and how well your performance or how believable your performance is. So the fact that you didn't really develop a certain acting technique, I felt like just from what you were telling me that your performance is more organic.
I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of the acting I like.
Sure.
I was really stressed about, creating a character and like doing something on screen, like being a different person. And then I was like, at the end of the day, I just have to tell a story in the best way that I know how. And at this moment in time, this is the best way I know how. And I'm going to take all the things I've learned, but at the end of the day, you also have to forget all of the things you've learned, because if you're thinking about those things on set, let's say you and I are in a scene, and I'm thinking of those things, I'm not here with you.
Right.
And I'm not giving you guys what you need to then give me, and then we ping pong it back and forth, and we're not in the moment together, because I'm somewhere thinking, oh, I need to be feeling sad here, so I'm going to look, frustrated or something like that. So I find that, and I started actually reading a lot of acting books to try and figure out, like, okay, what's going to work for me and what isn't. And, for such a long time, I was like, these things aren't really like helping me. Like, when I'm thinking about these things, I actually don't enjoy acting anymore, because I'm in my head and I'm thinking about these things instead of just acting and like putting myself in a scenario. What would I do if I was this person? What would I do if it was just me?
Right.
And that's still acting, because the scenario isn't happening. What if I got in a car crash right now? What if I saw one? What would I do? But I read this acting book, and it was called actually How to Stop Acting. And it basically, his whole philosophy was like, you can do all the work you need, but if you're not in the moment, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Like, who is it for? Do you enjoy acting, or do you enjoy watching yourself on camera, or do you enjoy having a moment between like you and another person as characters?
Right.
Or are you interested in this for the wrong reasons? And it was so helpful for me to read this before I went into the feature, because I let so much pressure go. Like back to the thing of like, oh, I need to really do something. And it's like, I don't need to do anything.
Right.
I just need to live.
Yeah.
And I just need to be authentic and as open as possible, and okay with being vulnerable and being a human.
Right.
And I think that's the art that I love.
Yeah.
Not the, I like to over-examine things, but then you've done your work.
Right.
You get to let it go. And actors, like I used to watch so many interviews of actors who said that, and I was like, I don't get what they're talking about. What do you mean you let go of your homework? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying the line and I'm thinking of the homework that I did.
Right,
because I was
right.
thinking of the line. I wasn't just saying it to you.
Right.
And like looking in your eyes and waiting for a response. I also used to go into projects with like, this is how I'm going to do it, and it doesn't matter how they respond to me, I'm going to respond my way. But let's say they respond laughing. That's going to change how I deliver my next line.
Right.
So if I don't take your laughter in, I'm not taking you in. And I'm doing what I wanted to do, what I predetermined. That's not living in the moment at all.
Right.
That's not art. That's, you're predetermining everything.
Yeah.
Like, so reading that book really helped me like go into the project with like an open mind and say, you know what, I'm going to give them as much as I can, and I'm going to take as much as I can from them, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
And the director's there to help, and there's all these people on set to, help guide you and figure out, is it working? Is it not? Let's talk about it.
Right.
And it was so lovely
Yeah.
to experience that.
It's like this relationship of, practice versus performance.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Do your homework. It's like, when we're playing baseball.
I was just about to say, yeah.
When you're practicing, when you're at practice hitting in the cage,
Right.
you're working on your technique, working on your swing,
Right.
all that stuff. But then when time game comes, your performance is ready to go. Everything you did,
Right.
you put in the work. Now you forget about it and let it show.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
It's that-
developing. It's developing that second nature.
Right.